What 5 years of celibacy has taught me? It's taught me to be patient with myself. It has taught me to be gentle with myself and to really love myself. And it's okay to be sexual. And sexuality and sexual energy is just creative energy. And although I may have known that in my mind, it didn't show up in my actions. I was just on really beginning that journey around about that time. It has shown me that I'm a goddess, and it has given me more self-worth and value. And I went through a period of thinking that being promiscuous was like the worst thing in the world or whatever. I mean, not really the worst thing in the world, but real bad. But through maturity, spiritual maturity, we learn that everything is connected, and we learn that everything has a purpose, and sexual energy shows up on both ends of the spectrum. You have sacred sexuality, and that can come through controlled sexual expression, and it can also come through chaotic sexual expression. And as we go through our spiritual journey, we may go through both ends, and we may be very reserved with our sexual energy, and we may only want to express that with one person, or maybe with multiple people over a span of time, or either with multiple people at the same time. So everybody, is different, but it has definitely taught me, the more that I study during this time period, it allowed me to clear my mind and really hone in on my studies and hone in with my spiritual path and calling in life, instead of seeking validation outside of myself and people pleasing, being codependent. It has taught me to be interdependent and to connect with people on a different level. On a deeper, higher level. Sometimes physical contact can be the only means for deep connection in many instances. But when you take the physical contact out of it, and you have to use your psychic ability, your intuitive abilities, to really read the energy of a person. And being an empath, you want to give and cater to a person. But when you have learned your boundaries and you really exercise those boundaries, because you're not taking the physical contact into consideration. So if you remove that out of the way, because there's another component to that. So there's a chemical reaction that happens. So from frequency, the music that we listen to. So I don't really listen to the same types of music. And if I do, like romantic music, I don't listen to it the same way. In romantic movies, I don't really watch them anymore. So it doesn't really have that chemical reaction. When I look at a lot of situations and people's normal relationships, no judgment to them, no shade. But I'm like, that's really something that doesn't really resonate with me. I still have this cold, excuse me. So when we interact with physical touch, and then especially when we enter into a sexual intertwining, for lack of a better word, that we are secreting hormones. Our minds are secreting all these hormones, and it's rewiring our brains. So when those rewirings happen, we become somewhat addicted to, especially if we climax or whatever, we become addicted to that feeling. No different than sugar, no different than, getting a buzz. It really is it can be a drug. So with that being understood, that when we think that we are experiencing emotional connections, we really are just experiencing chemicals that are released in our bodies. So when we understand that, That's why sexual transmutation is so important, because you can use it for healing, because you're really rewiring the neurons in your brain. You can use it for manifestation. So when we are relaying this to magic, that we're relaying this to what Napoleon Hill would talk about, or what sages and yogis would talk about. When we climax, that we are using that parts of the faculties of our brain and our emotion and our creativity, our creative force, to manifest something in life. So if you think about when people interact in coitus, the ultimate goal is to create something. A lot of times it's to create an offspring. But if you're not creating an actual tangible child, then what are you creating? If you are not exercising your spiritual muscles, like you're not really using that energy to manifest healing, to manifest something with clear, pure intent, besides just busting it off, or, or busting it off, or manifesting something with real intention, besides just like, oh, it feels good, or, oh, this is my boo, this is us coming together and we are just doing what couples do. But even if you were taking this to just a regular relationship and you really want to bond with the person, then the intention needs to be that, not just a chore, not just like, oh, I am horny. Horny is the equation. It equates to your spirit wanting to manifest something. So when we know that our spirit is longing to manifest something, we gotta intentionally ask, what is it that we're supposed to be manifesting at this time? Whether you're by yourself or whether you are co-creating with someone else. Even that's another thing too, when we talk about corn, that the whole objective of corn is to just reach that climactic state as a form of, it's really just like a drug, really. But that's the reason why corn can be so dangerous, because we're wasting our creative energy, our healing properties. We're wasting and rewiring our brains in the wrong way. I know this conversation is all over the place, but I just wanted to share with you guys, what I've learned. Excuse me. Now, this is no shade to anybody that may be going through whatever they're going through in their sexual journey. We are all here, expressions of God, working our way through whatever we've been born into. My whole goal with sharing is, it's good to share or whatever, but I mean, really, I don't have to, really, for any aspect of myself, but it's more so to help other people to feel more comfortable with what they may be going through, because there's so much that goes on in the world and people may not feel like they have anyone that they can connect to. Maybe just me sharing my little bit of knowledge could possibly help someone. And if you have any questions, I'm pretty much an open book, really, pretty much, for the most part. All right, much love. Peace.